NASA calls it space junk. But if that's true, why does this probe move like a grandmaster, calculating every step, every angle, inside our solar system's silent chessboard? Midnight, a dusty highway, nothing but the hum of your engine until a car appears in your rear view. No headlights, no plates. Every turn you make mirrors you, quiet, patient, and deliberate. That's exactly what astronomers felt in 2017 when their telescopes caught a glimpse of something impossible. A slender, cigar-shaped object, almost 400 meters long, slicing through the darkness with unnerving precision. At first, they dismissed it. Another rock, they said. Harmless, ordinary. But here's the catch. Rocks don't pivot, rocks don't accelerate, and rocks don't glide through orbital lanes like a predator tracing invisible lines. This wasn't just space debris. This was something else. Something that didn't match any natural model. Something that made even the most seasoned scientists whisper the word they don't like to say out loud. Artificial. What are we really looking at? October 19, 2017. Pan-STARRS Observatory, Hawaii. The night sky was clear, instruments humming, when a blip appeared in the data stream. At first glance, nothing unusual, just another dot of light in the endless darkness. Then, the numbers hit. Longer than 4 football fields, taller than the Empire State Building when laid on its side, moving at 196,000 miles per hour, fast enough to circle Earth 8 times in 1 hour. And its trajectory? It didn't match anything in the database. This thing wasn't orbiting the sun like comets and asteroids do. It came from the stars and was already heading back out of our solar system. But here's where it gets strange. The shape was the first thing that broke the story. Most objects are rounded by eons of collisions. This one was sleek, almost elegant. Long and narrow, like a blade or a needle. Its surface appeared metallic, smooth and reflective, as if time had never touched it. Let that sink in. Public statements remained calm. Just another rock, they said, harmless, routine. But inside the observatories, whispers grew louder. This thing didn't fit anything they knew. Is this trajectory truly random? Because rocks don't change course. Rocks don't accelerate. And rocks don't glide through orbital lanes like they know the map better than we do. The first anomaly made it clear. This visitor was unlike any other. They thought they understood the rules of physics until they encountered something that rewrote them. When scientists first tracked its path, they knew immediately something was wrong. This object wasn't following the rules. Its trajectory wouldn't bend to gravity's pull, wouldn't follow the straight, predictable paths that the sun and planets dictate. Instead, it deviated. Like a pilot making subtle course corrections mid-flight. And yet, then came the acceleration. Scientists expected it to slow down as it swung past the sun. That's what natural objects do when they're done with their stellar encounter. But it didn't slow down. It sped up. No visible engines. No comet-like outgassing. Just pure, silent momentum that defied explanation. The first theory was radiation pressure, sunlight itself acting like wind filling a sail. a gentle push that could, theoretically, account for the movement. But this wasn't some lightweight piece of debris. It was 400 meters long, weighing tens of thousands of tons. For the sun to push something that massive? Avi Loeb, chair of Harvard's astronomy department, put it bluntly. For it to be moved by sunlight, it would have to be less than a millimeter thick, like a pancake, not a cigar. And yet it moved, smoothly, deliberately, like a building-sized leaf floating on an invisible current, or a chess piece that glides across the board without following any rules. But here's the catch. Loeb ran the numbers repeatedly, checking for errors, adjusting for every possible variable. When the results wouldn't change, he published a peer-reviewed paper that shocked the scientific community. What we observed was not consistent with any natural object, Loeb concluded. The simplest explanation is that it was artificial in origin. Not everyone agreed. Some clung to the belief that it was just a rare rock behaving in ways we didn't understand. That's how science works. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. But the concern was spreading because the math was solid. Something 4 football fields long, moving at nearly 196,000 miles per hour, changing course without any visible propulsion. That wasn't just unusual, it was impossible. What else could explain this behavior? NASA still called it normal, though. The headlines labeled it an asteroid, an interstellar rock, a passing curiosity, something safe, something uninteresting. But the numbers told a different story. Something or someone had altered the plan. Here's the part most people never see. When something like this is discovered, the information doesn't immediately reach the public. There's a system, a deliberate, careful process designed to filter, analyze, and control what gets released. Let me explain how astronomical censorship actually works. Discovery is the first step. Every night, telescopes like Pan-STARRS scan the sky, cataloging thousands of points of light, asteroids, comets, stray pieces of space debris. Anything unusual gets flagged. The data is stored, analyzed, and given an initial classification: asteroid, comet, or very rarely interstellar object. Then it moves up the chain. Teams of astronomers and administrators collaborate to review its trajectory and behavior, comparing every measurement to existing models. The information isn't released until the math appears safe, and the classification doesn't raise suspicions. And safe is the operative word. So when a cigar-shaped object appeared in 2017, accelerating and maneuvering as if it knew our system better than we did, what did they call it? Comet. Nothing unusual, nothing alarming, just a harmless visitor passing through. But here's what's wrong with that picture. The classification stayed routine even when the math said it was impossible. This isn't new. History is littered with quiet rebranding. In the early days of the space race, unexplained sightings became weather balloons. Strange data from space probes were dismissed as instrument malfunctions. Even the first radar contacts, now public record, were buried under bureaucratic language and vague classifications. Labels control narratives. Call something anomalous, and everyone wants to know what's happening. Call it a comet, and the story dies overnight. Is this all just coincidence? Inside the observatories, though, Whispers grew louder. Scientists running the calculations knew this object wasn't behaving like a rock or chunk of ice. Its speed, its precise trajectory, its silence, none of it resembled a natural traveler. But outside, silence. Clean press releases. Carefully chosen words designed to prevent excessive curiosity. It raises the question no one in authority wants to answer. Who chooses what you get to know? What else has been written off as normal when it wasn't? How many impossible things have passed through the darkness while the official story remained routine? If this really was just a comet, then why did the experts who saw the actual numbers stop talking about it after those first fevered weeks? And yet, as suddenly as it appeared, it was gone. After weeks of intense observation, the object rounded Jupiter's orbit and vanished into space. No second pass, no follow-up observation, just gone. Astronomers scrambled to keep it in sight, but the window was impossibly narrow. They recalibrated instruments and ran desperate calculations, but nothing worked. Its trajectory, its speed, nearly 196,000 miles per hour, and the angle of its departure all conspired to hide it from view. By the time word spread, the first interstellar visitor we'd ever seen was already beyond the reach of our most powerful telescopes. There were only questions left after that brief encounter. Avi Loeb refused to back down. He stuck to the math, to the models that wouldn't fit any natural explanation. What we observed was not consistent with any natural object, Loeb maintained. The simplest explanation is that it was artificial, a piece of technology from elsewhere. Many disagreed, insisting it was just an unusual rock behaving in ways we didn't fully comprehend yet. Let that sink in. But there's a problem. No one sent a follow-up mission. No one prepared for a second visitor. We just accepted that the first object from another star system had slipped away, taking its secrets with it. The silence was louder than any statement. If it were truly just an ordinary rock, then why didn't anyone demand to see it again? Why didn't we chase the first confirmed interstellar object as it disappeared? The mystery isn't over. If it happened once, it can happen again. Because if this was just a rock, then the universe just got strange. But if it wasn't, then someone sent it. The truth belongs to all of us. Don't let them hide the single greatest discovery in human history behind jargon and closed doors. So watch the skies. Subscribe to Cosmic Void for the next chapter in this investigation, because the sky was never empty. And now, we finally see it. In Cosmos we trust.